Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another session with Global Education and Training Institute under the Disruptive Education Movement initiated by Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And today we have with us a visionary and a mentor, Miss Nandini Shekhar, who is currently the principal at Delhi Public School, HRID campus. And she has gained a prominent position in the educational arena due to her passion and dedication for education. And if we talk about her professional career, she has been contributing in this field of education from past 3 decades and has seen her blossom as an educationist and an able administrator. She has worked in the finest educational institutions such as Delhi Public School, Ghaziabad, Seth Anandram Jaipurya, and KR Mangalam, which have enriched her educational journey. And she is also a recipient of Ramakrishna Award and Brainfeed Award for her contribution in the field of education. And today she has joined us to talk on a very interesting topic, that is the habits of mind. So, without much ado, I would request ma'am to please take over the session. A very warm welcome to you once again. And dear viewers, if you have any questions, please do post it in the comment section. Over to you, Nandini ma'am.
Thank you, Pirina. It was really nice listening about myself from you because this is for the second time we are hosting it. And actually, you people are hosting it, and I'm the part of it. And the topic, habits of mind, was something which is very close to my heart. Because when you read books and when you come across how the mind works, what are the vagaries of mind, like how does it all accumulate all the thought processes, and it's such a small thing and still it is able to deliver so many facts. So and it make our life go. So that's the reason I picked up this topic for discussion today, because it is for schools to work properly and for the children to learn well. It is very important that they should all know what should be the right approach towards mind, how they can explore their mind and expose it to different experiences so that it enriches. So one thing is which is very important is that, first of all, what we should know, what is habits of mind. We all work and we are into something or the other, but having a disposition towards things where we feel that we are not able to do it, and if you are thrown up in a situation or in a problem, what is your reaction to it? I think that is very important, and the kind of reaction, kind of response and attitude you have towards it is actually a habit. And it is not something which happens all of a sudden. It is either inculcated, it is your attitude, it is your behavior, or it is how you have developed yourself. That is how you react in a particular manner. Or that is also reason why we are able to like conduct our behavior in that particular mood. So it requires a lot of skills, it requires a lot of attitudes, and it is also your pattern of thinking. Our brain is actually on certain patterns. For example, the teacher will have always have a thought about her school. An engineer will always have thoughts where he'll be building. So the patterns are created in the mind. So especially with this emotional aspect or habits of mind aspect, we need to know about these patterns so that we can actually work in a proper and in a congenial manner with the mind. Now, there are certain, a lot of researchers have gone, people have really worked on it, and still they're exploring, and they have explored it from the educational point of view also. So the thing that came to mind is that there are 16 qualities, 16 points are there, which is very important. And why they are important? Because when we are in the school and we are observing the children or the children are learning, we generally label them according to certain facts and figures which they produce. But as a matter of fact, it is basically we have to look at this 16 qualities in a student, or the teacher has to work on these 16 qualities, so that things are more clear, first of all. Secondly, you know the nuances of the child's behavior. Thirdly, it will help them to understand their children better, and it will also tell them that what are the points, or what are the strengths of their students, which they can really build upon, and what is the nature or the quality of the student which they can easily distinguish, and they can even help them to further enhance their qualities. So first quality that comes is the persistence. So persistence is very important, because any person who is efficacious, who is a hard worker, he will stick to the task until it is completed. They don't give up easily. They will find out 101 ways to complete the task. They'll face the problem, and when the problem is there, they will design different strategies. They will come out of the problem trying to solve it out, and they will not lose their focus till the end the problem is not solved. For example, you take a math sum. So teacher has given a math sum to the class, and it is little on a hot kind of a sum, where higher order thinking is required. So some of the children will leave it, but there are few children of even the teachers. They will also not leave the child unless and until the child has not completed their task, and they will help, and they'll find out different strategies and make it work in a positive mode till they have not achieved whatever the task they have designed, and whatever objective, you can say, or whatever outcome they wanted. So for us to know the best outcome, it is very important. And if we want to be secure success and excellence in our work, persistence is a key word. We generally write that the child has got perseverance. He is a persistent. What does that persistent means? That if he is stuck to some work, he tries, or the child tries to complete that work, and he will do it at every cost. And whatever flaws were there, that will be a learning point. That will be an experience for the student or the child. So this is what is important for the child, and that is what is required. So another thing is that these kind of children do not give up. They just, it's just like ant policy, and doesn't give up. So, and even what Winston Churchill said was completely right. Never, never, in nothing great or small, large or petty, never give in. The same decade, Albert Einstein said, it is not that I am so smart, it is just that I stay with the problems longer. So if you have anything in your mind, and if you want to achieve success in life, if you want to have a feeling of excellence in your work, then perseverance combined with persistent effort is very important, and it should be worked on. Second quality which is there is, generally, what happens when any problem is there, we are stuck up in any kind of a situation, we become very impulsive, we react too fast, our reaction is instant. People, those who are composed, they are poised, and they are, I'll say, they are mature, and they have seen situation like this, and they have learned from their mistakes, or there's a lot of reflection in them. You will find they manage impulsive behavior, or impulsivity, very nicely and clearly. They always think before they speak. They ponder over their thoughts, and they take their own time to complete. It is not that instantly they will do something and then there is a failure. They will strategize, they will plan, they will make a action plan, they will do the planning in a way that what follows what, and they will choose their responses accordingly, which responses is positive, which response is not positive, and all these tools have to be put in the right order. And another thing which is very important is that they are very thoughtful, first of all. Secondly, they are very reflective. Reflective is something when we look back, that what are the things that are working in favor of us and which are helping us, and which are the things do not help us the way we should be doing them. So it is always think time. Think before you act, think before you speak, and thinking also makes you make your planning more clearer and better. and there is always a wait time for everything. Suppose anger is there, suppose in the class the children have this habit of pulling each other, or maybe doing certain things where, or the teacher also, if teacher is scolding, all of a sudden some of the children react, or students are playing, somebody has hit somebody, so that reaction is there. So if you give a, that is why it is said, no, take a deep breath. Deep breath is a process where you are giving yourself a time, wait time and think time. So when this wait time and think time are synchronized in the proper manner, and you develop this kind of a nature or a strategy with you, I think you become a better person, or your mind is tuned in a proper way. Because whatever habits, whatever reactions you are having today, they form a habit of your mind. Your mind becomes habitual. So certain responses are, stimulus is there, and you have a reaction. So that reflex or a reaction is basically your learning. You give your mind a learning that when this kind of a thing will happen, I am going to react in a particular manner. So those reactions should be sorted out, and you should always give a thought to whatever action you are doing, why you are doing, how you are doing, and is it necessary that you need to do in this way. And if you have done something wrong for the first time, or maybe second time, third time, there is always a time to really regain back and think over and change your thought processes or reactions. Now, what are we looking in a student? We are looking in a student at traits. Traits are the qualities. Like the child should be inquirer. He should be asking questions. The children should be knowledgeable. They should have knowledge of whatever. Suppose any chapter is going on, they are in class 6th or 7th or 8th, maybe 11th, 12th. They should have a knowledge of that particular class. They should think. Thinkers are always welcome, because it means they utilize their mind in a positive and constructive manner. And now whatever you're thinking, you need to communicate in a very subtle and dignified, plus in a skillful manner. Then there should always be principles with all of us, that what is my principle of life, and how I have to work on that principle. And caring attitude, a risk taker is important, and balanced life, and always very reflective. So these are the qualities of a trait of students which I have written down, and children should really work on these traits, because this is what makes you a wholesome personality. When we say holistic approach, when we say we are into all round development, so these are the things which we are actually honing in this student, or in the child. Next is listening to others with empathy and understanding, and also understanding others' perspectives. Generally, we want to be in the limelight, and we love to talk, and we want that we should be the, if we are speaking, and if we are just in that process of where people are listening to us, we are in a better position. But it is vice versa. When you are listening, you are actually observing. You are giving your mind space of assimilating, of observing, of trying to understand, of understanding and learning between the lines. What is the implication? Why this is being said? And what is the underlying meaning of this? So if you are a speaker, it is good, but at the same time, with a good being a good speaker, you need to be a good listener also. And when you are listening to somebody, there should be always an element of empathy. Empathy means you should listen to the other person as you would like that person to listen to you. And whatever that person is saying, please do not turn a deaf ear, but you should have a full understanding of that, whatever the person speaks out. And that is a sign of an intelligent person. All intelligent person listen very carefully, and then they reflect, or they, after that, they put their reactions. They don't immediately put their reactions on that. And you need to invest your time and energy for listening also. That is very important. And apart from that, when you are listening, you need to understand the point of view of the other person, and what are the emotions of that person. Because we all are social human beings, and we are all dealing with soft skills as well as emotional, psychological, all the aspects of life. So when we are talking, there are certain emotional background to it. So emotions cannot be put away. When we talk of there are nine rasas, or you can say there are nine kind of emotions which are there. So you have to see that what is, how the person is communicating, and in the communication process what kind of emotion is being reflected. And when you listen to other person, then only you will be able to summarize and understand the gist of the talk. If the process is two way, so none of the person will listen to other person. So if you give listening time and space and try to understand what other person is saying and wants to put forward his opinion, her opinions, so you will be able to summarize the opinion of other person and give a better understanding to that person's thoughts. So, and there are times when you disagree with the person who is talking to you. So when you are not agreeing to the thought process, but you have a reason. You cannot. It is not that negligently you have tried not to listen to the person, but there is a reason that why you have, and you have strong points to prove that this is the reason that I don't agree with you. So this is very important, that as students, teachers, it's a very beautiful relationship which goes in the class, and even between the students and one child to another child. And these are the actually steps of building up a good human being. Or you say when the children grow, these are the things which help them just become a matured and intelligent, sharp, full of wisdom. Or you can say the children, those who know how to act and behave in a particular situation. So listening is an art, speaking is a skill, so listening is also an art which should not be neglected, and which you have to give a decent amount of understanding to other person, that you are a good listener and you want to. And if you have any difference opinion, that you can vouch with lot of even the arguments, or you can say reasons behind it. So that is specifying. So there is no, the relationships are into a proper shape and sound, and they are sound relationships. Now, what happens is that generally what happens, okay, we become so adamant, and we are so sure of our thought process or our habits, or you can say your own thinking, that you don't listen, or you don't try to understand what is the other aspect of it. So anything can have lot of other options also. For that, we need to think in a flexible manner, and we have to look things from another point of view. Because if we are only stuck to one point, or if we are only on one thought process, then what happens is that we actually are blocking ourselves. We are not letting ourselves expand in our horizons of thinking. So thinking has to be flexible, it has to be adaptable. So adaptability is always good. So when you make your thinking adaptable, that is flexibility. So flexible thinking should be there, and we should always look at things from others point of view also, and consider that whatever other people are saying, we should try to assimilate it or understand it or critically analyze it. Or weigh options means you have to find out options which are out of all the people. Because when we being a social animal and having a lot of thought processes and lot of thinking plus habits, everything, different attitudes, different skills, people belonging to different economic strata, or environmentally also, you can say, or culturally also, community wise also, we all are different from each other, and we have our own thinking. So that thinking should be flexible, and we should always try to understand the other's point of view also. So when you become like this, your perspectives change. So there is always a way of looking at things. So when you have a particular way of looking at things, that becomes your perspective. So the perspectives have to be broadened. You have to have values and traditions of other, and you have to value them, and of all the communities. And now whenever there is a problem, you can always redefine it and from different angle also. So most successful people are those who strategize in a way that if one strategy is not working, there should always be a plan B or plan C. Because if one path is not moving forward, you need to find out other ways to do it. And this is only possible if your brain or if your mind is working in a flexible mode. If you're adamant, if you are stuck, and if your mind is not going to think of anything else, so, and if you're not giving that space to your mind to be flexible, naturally adamancy comes. When adamancy is there, naturally other viewpoint doesn't enter. So we have to give that kind of openness, and for that you have this habit, inculcate the habit of listening to other people's opinion, and always there is a change of mind. That's not something which is very untoward. We can always change our thought process, or we can always change our thinking, and this helps us to have good attitudes, like and inculcating good habits like cooperation, respect, and tolerance for the other person. So we should always have a thinking cap which is flexible, which is accommodating, which is adaptable, which is always looking for different aspects, and which is broader. So when this is there, this all these things will be there, naturally you will be more seasoned person, you will be more matured, and your thinking will be more respected in the society, because people love those who are able to understand them. So when you have that kind of empathetic attitude, and you have that kind of a nature that you are trying to understand others point of view also, and if there are 10 points of view, and you as a leader are able to be flexible and accommodate each one's point of view somewhere else, somewhere or the other, people will be united, there will be cooperation, the communities are going to be happier. So this is what is required at this point of time. I think this is a very important point, where we need to be flexible, and we need to, and our mind has got this tendency to always rewire itself, to change itself, to always repair itself. This mind is so flexible, but we have to give it a chance to do so. And there are certain patterns, or you say the behaviors, or situations where we need to be flexible, and we can change them accordingly. Another point is metacognition. Metacognition is talking to oneself, trying to judge your own thinking process. You can say introspection, I'll say, is something going deeper, but when you are trying to just have arguments with your mind, when you are putting the question and answer to yourself, or you're talking to yourself, that is actually on any issue, any problem, any kind of a concern which is there, you will find that you are going to get very good answers. Because today, what is the problem with everybody? That we are so firm, we are so determined, that we do not let our mind think beyond certain limit. We feel that I have decided this will happen. So if you have decided something, if we decide something, it is always important that whatever we are thinking, give it a thought again, that how, why, what if, is it important? What will the problems crop up? So it is, you have to be aware of your thinking process. That is why people, after some time, when children grow up, when they come to the age of maybe they have just start bringing strong personality points. So some of them become too arrogant. Some of them start fighting with their mother only, or maybe they are talking rudely to their friends, because now they need to think that why this kind of behavior was there. And this will only come when you are giving your mind a thought, or when your mind is also thinking about its own thought process. So whatever you are thinking, you have to rethink again and rewire again if something is wrong, and think with a very judicious mind. So we also should know that we are all in this stage where we cannot say that we are perfect. We don't have all the abilities and all the qualities or intelligence of the world. We are still learners in our own ways. So it is very important for us to know what we know and what we don't know. So, what is metacognition? It means becoming increasingly aware of one's actions and effect of those actions on others. Suppose you are doing something which is harmful or which is painful for other person, so mind should be told that this should not be done. So it should be a mid course should be there where the thinking bell should be there, that correction has to be made, and because this is not what should be done. And this also helps in problem solving. You need to develop a plan. After developing plan, you have to see how the plan is working, whether it is working in the right direction or not. Assess the plan, evaluate the plan, and reflect the outcome. This plan is it. I can if I take it from the teacher's point of view. So teachers can suppose teachers feel any teacher feel that I have to do a particular anything in my class. Maybe I have to make my class more disciplined. So one discipline, so she has to give her mind a thought that till now I was very strict. I was always giving punishment to the children. I'd been treating children like this. So let me make certain another plan. So that plan, and then you keep on step by step. You are working on that plan, and after working on the plan, then you are assessing. You are observing the class that what is the outcome that is coming to me, and those outcomes have to be evaluated, and that is what then you have to reflect that where I was and where I have reached, and what changes I have brought, and which of the changes were fruitful for me, and which changes did not work the way should have worked. This activity can be done with anything. Maybe the students can do with their learning styles. Teachers can do with a lot of things that happen in the class, maybe their teaching styles, or maybe discipline problems, or behavioral problems of the students, or some kind of a, if she wants that children should do their homework more regularly. So the planning has to be done. For planning, action plan has to be made, and that has to be implemented. Now, striving for accuracy, check it again. Striving, the only thing is which we miss out, we become complacent. We become easygoing. We have a laid back attitude. Once we have achieved something, we feel now it's okay. I I have done the work, it's complete. I'm not bothered about it. So you don't need to do that. You have to be you have to keep your scales very high. Your own expectations from yourself should be high enough. And then you have to keep on checking yourself also that whether that kind of this objective or aim I have put, or I want to do something, how much I have been able to achieve it, and is there something which needs to be more precise, or I need to check it again. Why? Because constantly we have to monitor ourselves. If we want to become a person, if I want to be best in myself, I should be my I should be my worst critic. I should criticize myself the most, because then only I'll bring out changes in myself, that these are my weak points and I need to work on them. Always, as students, as teachers, as an individual, anybody should always set high standards. Unless and until you don't have a standard, that what are you looking for, where you want to go, don't keep your standards too low, because they will be achievable and you will become complacent. So make your standards so high that you are working for that, but don't forget that you have to be principled and you have to be balanced. If you are principled and balanced, I think you will be able to achieve whatever your heart desires. When we are treading anything, when we are treading any path, or we are doing anything in life, naturally we want constant improvements in ourselves. So for that, checklist has to be there. We need to be checking ourselves. And whenever the checklist says you have done a great job, just applaud for yourself. And don't be satisfied, but always have an ambition to rise up. People, those who are ambitious, and when you aim for the stars, and then only you can get closer to it. If you're not aiming for anything high, so how can you achieve it? So your aspirations, your desires, your thought process of giving rise to yourself get into the right mode only when you have ambition inside you, that I have to constantly improve myself and keep a checklist of your whatever you are doing, how much you have achieved. And this can be done with your board examinations also, that if I'm planning to get I know marks do not carry any weightage, but they are very important. We can it's a very paradoxical statement which is there. Some of the people say marks do not value, some of the people say marks value. But when marks are there, why not to get the highest marks? Why not to achieve for the highest? And for that, what strategy will I plan out? What is my nature? What is my best learning style? How can be I my personal best? So I'll have to jot down, and I'll have to okay, today I have done this. So that complete timetable chalking out is also very important. And if you the biggest failure is a one who knows that I have committed a mistake, and again that person commits the same mistake. If you are not learning from the mistakes, I think life can never be on the right track. So, and apart from that, whenever you are doing something, always have an evidence of this. If this is for the teachers, always keep evidence of whatever is happening in the class and how it has gone, because they become your case histories. So when you say, when generally people ask you what is, if you give an example of your very successful student, or give an example that you have done a great job with your class. So if you have evidences, if you are keeping a record of whatever is happening and how you have gone about it, and maybe you write it or you ask the students to follow it, so that way I think the things turn out to be positive, and you also achieve your desired goal of improvement, because the best satisfaction is your emotional and mental satisfaction. You can get outwardly satisfactions, but internal satisfaction of feeling that achievement, that I have done a great job with my students, our student feeling that I have done today, I have used my time so judiciously and I have studied so well. I think I'll be able to, I have improved myself a little bit, though till now I was getting 50 or 60% marks. Now today's performance can, I have just tried to improve 5%. So tomorrow I'll be another 5%. So this is a constant reminders to yourself, and because you need to shake up, you need to rub yourself in your mind and your soul and heart, everything, so that you strive for accuracy. Accuracy is nothing, it is excellence, it is success, it is getting what you want to achieve in life. So that is another very important aspect of your mind, and it should be formed as a habit. Anything which is formed as a habit becomes your nature, and when it becomes your nature, you will always remember that some of the people you yourself appreciate कि इसकी ये nature बहुत अच्छी है, ये इसमें ये बात बहुत अच्छी है. Why do you say this? Because that person has honed his skills, and he has brought up like this. He has struggled with his thinking, and he has tried to build up himself in that particular direction or in particular thought. So all these things should be taken with lot of stride in your own direction. Now, your mind, why human beings are known as the best out of all the animals, they are the most intelligent one. They are the people, those who have come out of were able to come to this stage where we are into supersonic age, and we were also like other animals of the jungle. Why? Because we have this habit of inquiring. We were always very curious. We were always searching for certain answers. Spiritually, in materialistic world also, in technological advancements also. When this question mark is always there with us, and we always keep on thinking about this answers to our questions. So what happens? We are giving a time to ourselves to grow. These what, how, what, if, why, any problematic situation, Maybe if why do cats have fur on their body, why do dogs bark, all these questions when the child asks, maybe why the stars are shining. These are basically our researches. These questions are given the researchers to the most intricate topics in the world, and today where the world is because of this question mark only. So these question marks are very important, and we need to sometimes pose questions to ourselves also, that why did I behave in a particular manner? Was that the right attitude? Am I on the right track? Should I have spoken like this to my teacher, or should I behave like this with my mother? So these are actually these habits the mind has to always question your personal, your own behavior, own actions. When you start questioning your own behavior and actions, naturally things turn out to be very positive, and you have a very introspective mind, and you will never do things which are wrong. Why children sometimes fall into wrong company and they're not able to come out? Because they don't question themselves. Why children start smoking and they can't leave smoking? Today in the society I see a lot of girls are smoking. Why? Because they are not questioning themselves. They are only stuck to this fashion stigma. So this fashion stigma, if you put a question mark there and try to see it from different angles and point of views, then they'll find they are doing the most foolish action in the world, which is not required also. So if you want to be attain accuracy, try to find out, and the progress question mark is progress of the world. When you are listening to speakers, student, suppose the teacher is teaching in the class, student should have that kind of a mind, that he is listening or she is listening to the teacher with a very curious mind and trying to find out questions to them, trying to find out, okay, ma'am, why does this happen? That is what an interactive class is. That is what interaction is. That is where the learner is gaining more than what the learner should have gained. So, if the students are inquirers, they reflect also, because when you initiate any discussion in the class, you will always try to just try to understand it and reflect it back. So that also, it is also a risk taking act. When you are asking a question, sometimes you have a question mark in your mind, that whether somebody will say you ask such a silly question, you don't even know this much. But you have to be not to be afraid, but ask questions and pose as many problems. So when, suppose people are going to the moon, people are traveling to the Mars, when they sit and discuss, they are only posing questions, and they are only understanding the problems that we'll face. So when people say talk about the problems, they are finding the solutions, and that is why they are prepared for the worst of adversities which are there in the space or on the Mars or any place. So if there are no questions, naturally the discussion stops. When the discussion stops, the action also stops. So question mark is very important in life. You have to always be curious, try to understand your mind, try to understand your behavior, and always question yourself, or why this kind of a thing is there, or how can I do this, and what if this happens, and why how all these words are actually beautiful words which need to be always a part of our life and dictionary. Because if you have this kind of attitude, you will be always looking for data, and that will be developing your understanding of the data. Data is nothing, data is your knowledge. So you will be exploring your knowledge, and your knowledge will get satiated, or you will get satisfied when you will get answer to your whatever you aspire for, whatever your questions are. Now, every time you cannot be a successful person. It is not necessary that every time whatever you are doing, you are going to be successful. Sometimes you have pitfalls. Sometimes you have situations where you actually falter in life. But always take this as a learning lesson. Don't forget, when you commit a mistake and you got reprimanded for that, or there was a situation which was a failure for you, never repeat that kind of a situation. because life is all about problems, life is all about situations, life is all about reactions to those situations. So if you are intelligent human being, then you have to learn from your experience. And how can you learn from your experience? We can only learn from our experience when we are trying to understand, when we are going trying to observe, when we are observant enough to take our life seriously and giving a note to everything whatever is happening in our life. If we are just what is the difference between a person who is intelligent and non-intelligent? They are actually not bothered, they are just spending their time. But intelligent person will always have a particular timetable according to which that person has and will have an objective or an aim of life, and he will try to work on that. So, human beings, as human beings, it is important for us that we learn from our experiences of life, childhood, childhood experiences, experiences while we were in the class. What kind of this kind of behavior of mine agitates my father? This kind of attitude of me is very agitating to my mother. So I should not be doing it. So you have to tune your mind in a way that you try to whatever experiences you have gathered, you learn from them and you try to use them in your present life. So when there is always a new and perplexing problem, so you sometimes you win because you can always reflect back that at that time this thing happened, so I did this. So what if this was there, so I could do this. So these are questions which you put to yourself, and you that turns out to be a success point. So everything that happens today becomes a history tomorrow, but in your memory, they are always there. Either they form a part of your knowledge, or they form a part of your anecdote or an experience, or it is only a source of data for you. So all these things are always stored there. It is only when you just think naturally that point get triggered up and that situation gets solved because of that. So you need to have lot of experiences in life, because you will have only experiences when you remember them, when you observe your life, when you keep a note of your life experiences. Otherwise you will forget some. When you till childhood to the old age, some people do not remember anything. They don't bother about anything, but there are few people, those who learn from the experiences, and unko hum log kehte hain, like they are the storehouse of knowledge for us. And whatever you learn today, always use it. Don't let it go waste. Every learning should be used by us, because if we are able to spread that learning around, and so many people can gain from there your experiences, or you can tell people, you can teach younger children. So that thing will be very good for the society, because our society strives on us. Whatever you are thinking, it should be very clear. Fuzzy thinking, fuzzy thoughts will always giving fuzzy communication. If your thinking is not clear, your communication will also not be very to the point, and it will not be open, or you can say the other person will not be able to get whatever you are saying. So your thought process, your thinking should be very clear and to the point, and it should show certain kind of wisdom, because sometimes what happens, that we speak for the sake of speaking. So when for that you need to build up your vocabulary, you need to build up your language and thinking. They are so closely knitted, like they are the two sides of the coin. And what intelligent people do, they strive to communicate accurately both in written and oral forms. So person who is a good reader, who reads a lot, who understands, who has got a reflective process, they will be good good at oration, and they will be also good at creative writing, or writing, I say. What is that? Your expression. So speaking and writing both are expressions, and these expressions can be there if you are using the right language right words in a right form with the correct flow. So that is what is required. And you have to train your mind for this. If your mind is going wavy and it is having lot of clutter of thoughts, so you need to declutter your mind. That is why we say that meditation is just calming down your mind, bringing your mind to a certain stability where the thinking process is clearer. It doesn't have a foamy kind of a structure, and you speak with conviction, and you are firm on your thought, and you are able to express yourself more clearly. And it is not about only generalizations or no over generalizations, but we use explanations, comparisons, quantification, and evidences for that. So if you suppose, I'll give a very simple example for this, which is from the class. A child has got a question, and that question is of 6 marks, and one child who knows the answer will give the explanation or whatever is there in a very clear, concise, and to the point, perfect language without any error. A child who is a fuzzy thinker, who is not studied so well, and all his knowledge is all entwined together, and is not very, the clarity of answer is not there. So he will be overgeneralizing the situation and repeating the same sentence in some form or the other. So what will happen? One child is getting 6 marks, the other child also feels I have written half page, but why I've got only 1 mark? Because the answer was not as it should have been. So you need to think and write, read, whatever. So this thinking has to be very clear. When the thinking is clear, then only you will be clear in your expression, written and verbal expression. Mind is a beautiful thing because it has always been developing. It has always been innovative. There are a lot of it's a the wiring is such, there are a lot of neurons in this, and those neurons are always there are millions of neurons, and those who are always at work, and they are always working the mind to make it better. And this mind is able to create, do a lot of imaging, a lot of imagination can be done, and you can also do a lot of innovation. So only thing is, not go in the stipulated manner. If you can think little outside the box, you can think in a creative manner, you can give your mind a scratch and think in a versatile, just explore the versatility of your mind, and bring certain things where you feel that you are really doing good. And so either your imagination is going beyond certain parameters, and you are trying to put that imagination into some kind of a wiring and creating something and innovating something. Today's children, I'll just appreciate today's children, kids. They are so innovative because we have got games, we are doing a lot of brain quizzes with them, we are doing coding with them, and the schools are really working hard that so that they can explore the potentials of the mind. So children are able to create and innovate a lot of things. So this is something which is very important. The only thing is, you don't walk on the treaded path. You find a different path for yourself. Try something different. Come up here, just think of some new ideas. Only thing is that you have to be true to yourself. So when you do that, eventually you become, there's a question, again a question mark comes, you become inquirers, and you become risk takers. Because creativity is something, sometimes when you do certain things, either it is a success or a failure. But if it is a failure also, then you don't need to, then the persistence come. You cannot leave it. You have to again work on it till the thing that then does not turn out to be fruitful. So all these, there are dilemmas in life. There are a lot of dilemmas in life, but our approach should be of problem solving. Whatever dilemmas we are facing in life, we should try to solve them. And in solving them, sometimes we are not sure whether we are on the right track, or on the wrong track, or whether it will be successful or not successful. But in the end, whatever your heart says, intuition also plays a very important role. If intuition says go for it, and maybe you are a failure, but you can again stand up and do such that thing. You can again reflect upon your weaknesses, where you went wrong, what were the problems that were created, and again you can pick that up, and it can be better. So for that, what do you need? You need to be alert, mindful. You need to be always aware of the situation. And God has given us five senses. Those senses are sense of touch, smell, taste, hearing, and sight. So grandmother always says, now nowadays we have stopped exploring our senses. But in the olden days, people were too much aware about this, and because they learn from the surroundings, they learn from the environment. We are inside the close four walls of the house. Initially, in the when we were young, we used to go out and play. So there was a lot of things we learned, a lot of social skills, emotional skills. We enjoyed the nature. We were plucking flowers, or maybe we were getting scolded for that. So nowadays, nothing of this sort happens. So things have changed. But otherwise, also we need to be we need to have that kind of awareness. We have to be alert that of our surroundings, and we have to keep all our senses alert and in a fine tune, that we keep on observing things, and whatever we are assimilating from the nature, from the environment, that can be reflected in some way or the other, and that can build lot of I can say lot of values in us. So it is not necessary that only communication is important. Sometimes the way you look at other person, the way you smile, the way you appreciate through your facial gestures, I say, or body language. So the way you enter the class, the way children are sitting in the class, all these are very indirect, but naturally stimuluses, which either encourages or discourages us. If children are attentively listening to you, the teacher would like to give the best from her side. And if today she is not prepared, and she feels the children were too much interested in knowing what the topic was, so next day that I see that you will notice the teacher will make an extra effort to just prove the point to the children that whatever you had desired yesterday, today I am prepared for that. So these are the learning movements. These are the learning areas which we have to keep track of, and we have to, like, your brain is such a beautiful thing, and all the communication goes through the it is wired through brain. So if we are able to put all our senses in the proper order, I think the brain will also have a lot of innovation, creativity, everything, whatever is there. So now, very important thing is that we should be curious enough, and inside us there should be always a child who is always eager to explore and inspire. Because when we are having a feeling of wonderment and awe, that means all we can say imperative kind of sentences, I'll say. So if we have that kind of a exclamation mark in our lives, so those exclamation marks is always good, because they excite our brain. Your brain also needs little bit of stimulus. It also needs little bit of working, so that it gets a little excited and it becomes concentrated. You can concentrate. Concentrated is the wrong word. You can concentrate in a better way, and it is in symphony with your thought process. So when you are in a wonderment and awe, and you are responding to the beauties of nature, you are responding to the innocence of a child, or certain happenings of the class, or maybe when you are eating tiffin in the lawn, you are enjoying that time. So they create the most beautiful experiences of the world. And apart from that, it is also the mysteries which are there around us, which sometimes you need to know the mysteries also, which are right. That why does, if I touch one plant, why the leaves go small? If what is the mystery of nature that in the evening the flowers are little they are not as bloomy as they were in the morning? Why does this thing change the color? So if all these things are there, your mind gets a different recreation. So when your body needs a recreation, your mind also needs a little bit of recreation. So that recreation will always you will get from seeing, from thinking out of the box, or I'll say thinking of some pleasant ideas or pleasant things in life, or something which excites you or makes you happy, and always something which you wonder. So when you read a, or when your parents used to tell you fairy tales, or when we are telling fairy tales, or maybe reading a fictional novel, so we are always in a state of wonder. And we start, why does novel keep you holding, and you want to go to the till the last page? If you are reading Agatha Christie, you will find that you want to start, and then you will not leave the novel unless and until you complete it, because that wonder is there. Wonder what happened after that, what happened. So this curiosity is always there in your mind. So this is, which is touches your heart. It is not that always you think I have to do this, I can do this, all this, but you should always have a feeling that I enjoy doing this. It gave me so much of pleasure. That feeling of happiness should be there. And the students or teachers, I'll say every person should continue to learn throughout their life, because if learning stops, your mind becomes a dead place. Your mind becomes a dull place. So you don't, and it doesn't get a food for thought. It doesn't get that kind of a stimulus. So your mind has to be stimulated all the time. And please come out of that everyday stereotype systems of your life. If you are learning something new, if you are experiencing something new, that always create neurons in your mind, and your mind stays active for a longer period of time. So your mind doesn't age as it should age. So, and if you can look at the beauty of nature, of sunset, look at the colors, try to do a painting of that, and try to find out how does the what kind of a geometry this spider has made with its saliva, and how they have knitted their web so well. So all these questions should come to the mind, and you should try to explore all this. So this also helps you to be a self-directed learner. One is that the teacher is teaching in the class, she is completing the syllabus, she is teaching you. One is another thing is that you are going out and you are seeing the different environment, you are seeing different things, and you're exploring things on your own, you're experiencing things on your own, and there is a feeling of wonder in you and awe in you, that how this is happening. And that inquiry you are bringing to the class and discussing with your fellow beings or with your friends, I think that makes your life so happening, and you feel you become sharp, intelligent. Some children are very sharp because they always have a curious mind. They'll not talk gossip. They'll not be gossiping, but they'll be talking something constructive. So this is basically approach which you need to have as thinkers, and and for effective learning also it is very important. And teachers need to appreciate the enthusiasm of the students, or the parents need to appreciate the enthusiasm of the students. If you will not do that, the children do not initiate further. For children, if they are taking one step, we have to take two steps forward to make them understand things, to satisfy their curiosity, or to think further more in this direction. Suppose any child who wants to become an astronaut, so we should give them everything whatever the child needs for that. We should give them those paths. We should create certain kind of situations, take them to a museum, show them, then they'll have more questions. So this, and they will look at, when you look at anything with wonder, so all your mental faculties actually broaden up, and they are ready to accept whatever knowledge is coming on the way. So that is very important. Now this is where you should be all trained. Nothing has happened. If a person would not have thought of going to the moon, so do you think he would have taken the risk? Who drove the car for the first time? That was also a risk. When the child is standing up and trying to walk, that is also a risk because he might fall. So when you are Certain risks are there which will always make you grow, which will take you away from your own structure and give you a better platform and give you a rise in life in any form. One is that you are taking a risk where you are dooming yourself. But there, the judiciousness of your thought comes that what kind of a risk you have to take so that you are growing in life. Because unless and until we don't make a mistake, we will never. We need to make mistakes. It is not necessarily deliberately we have to make it, but mistakes are part of life. So when one should not fear of not doing anything because the mistake will be there. So mistakes should not stop you, but we have to learn from the mistakes. So this approach has to be there. We should have that much of courage, forethought. We have to plan, and we should have a explore new roles, ideas, and strategies, because we cannot be working throughout our life. We cannot be working on same ideas and same strategies or same role. We need to play and we need to widen ourselves in most of the aspects, and we need to work on that. So there is all the risk educate you also, but before taking the risk, I know that risk is important, but it doesn't mean that you jump out of the wall. You have to see that whether the risk is worth taking or not. Is it safe and secure, or do we actually need to take this risk, or will it help us, or where will this risk take us in the future? The risk which I am taking today, what how it is helping me out and how it is helping in my growth, and what am I learning from it, or is it a sheer mistake which I am making? If it is a sheer mistake which I have made, so I will not repeat this kind of a risk in future. So life is a big risk itself. So when you are going out of the house, it is a risk, but we are taking it every day. So that is a planned risk, that we know that why we are going and what we have to do. If I'll not get a bus, so I'll hire a taxi, or if I don't get a taxi, then so all these things are correlated and interrelated with each other as far as the risk is concerned. So we need to take risk, but responsible risk, where we can be of some help to other person, and we can our roles get diversified and we broaden ourselves in every aspect of life, whether it is an intellectual, spiritual, emotional, social, psychological, economic aspect, any aspect, because life is all about these aspects only. We need to really work on these aspects. Now, humor is something which is a must in life. If you can't be humorous in life, you will be in a state of depressive state. When you are in a depressive state, the world is very negative for you. It's very pessimistic for you. So humor is it's a lubricant of life. It releases your tensions. It brings out a very congenial kind of relationships. It just take away all the disagreements which you have and unhappiness you have, and it also builds up great relationships in life, and you can be comfortable, you can be happy, and if you can spread happiness and you can spread humor, I think hearty laugh is something which cleans your system in such a way and makes you stress free, and it has got a very nice psychological impact on your body. It brings out the best in you, your innocence, your simplicity, your acceptance in the society. All these things are very important. So humor is something which we need to always be with us, and it should be always in our pocket. Whenever we get time to humor ourselves, please do that, because it is not something which belongs to any culture, any society, any community or religion. It is free for all, and it is there from the very beginning of the civilization till date. It has stayed as it is. The only thing is people have started smiling in a synthetic manner, which is wrong. So if you can have a hearty laugh, and if you can have those moments where you can give your heart and soul a happy laughter, that is something which you can actually give your brain a lot of oxygen. And your brain also feels happy. You should always give time to your brain to be happy a little bit, because when you are happy, you actually breathe a lot of creativity inside, and you provoke high level of thinking skills, and it has got a positive impact on your brain. So to create positive impact on your brain, So create certain humorous moment with your family, with your teachers, with your friends, and hearty laughter should be there. One laughter in a day is a must, where you laugh from your heart. Your heart should laugh in that. So now another point is thinking interdependently. We should always be collaborative, connected, togetherness, value other people in life, and always have a group with whom we are comfortable. Because, and no, a man is a social animal, but he needs for each and everything, we need the help of other. We cannot live alone. We cannot, the biggest punishment you can give to a to anybody is to leave them alone. So loneliness is the biggest punishment of life. So, and loneliness should not be there. We should try to be together, understand each other, respect each other, have affection for all with whom you are connected. Most important is have a feeling of getting connected and that kind of a liberal attitude where you value other person as you are valuing yourself. So empathetic attitude is a must. And if you are working in a team, if you are together, I think you can build the biggest of blocks in life. You can create some wonderful moments of life. And you can when you are sharing, when you are with each other, and you are, you see, I've seen some of the people, no, they don't want to share. They want to be with themselves. They feel that if I'll do that, the other person will come to know, which is a very very wrong attitude. I'm using I should not be using very very together, but it's a wrong attitude which should be abundant by all of us. Why? Because today you might also need those people with whom you are today neglecting. So in this society to live, we need to be hand in hand, and we need to think in a manner that we are dependent on each other for everything. So collaboration, connection, teamwork, unison, these are very important. And you will see in olden days people used to be united, and that is why you will the present scenario which was presented on 26th January, or maybe the time to time in our country which is happening, it is all because we have stopped thinking, we have stopped our brains to think for other people. We are only thinking for our own community, own selfish interest, own selfish motives. So our motives should be of a broader aspect. So that is very important. Now, and this is the last point, which is the 16th trait of a habit of mind. You all have to be, and we have to pledge ourselves that learning is a continuous process. It never stops. We stop learning, learning never stops. So the weakness is from our side. So a mind which is empty, mind which is not baffled, mind which is not confused, or which is not having any problem, or which is not trying to solve a problem, is actually, it is completely in a state of baffled state. It is a mind which is not constructive, which is not instrumental in doing any progressive work. So your mind, if a problem is there, if a situation is there, so you have to be your habit of mind has to be developed, which knows how to create this kind of how to handle this kind of a situation, and what other situations can be created so that we can come out of it. Another thing is that if a stream, if a bird is sitting on a tree and it is not singing, will you like it? If in the jungle the lion is not roaring, so will that give a view of a jungle? Or if a stream is not flowing, will you call it a stream? So mind is there, so it has to be always learning. If it is not learning, it is not employed. So your mind is actually unemployed. So don't keep your mind unemployed. We have to, it is in our hands. Nobody else is going to help us out. We have to be learners, and we need to grow ourselves each every minute of the hour, every second of the hour. So you should be your best critique, and always try to blend new learning in your mental state. And those who are intelligent people today, the CEOs and all these people, engineers, doctors, everybody, every person on this earth has to be use habit of mind. all these points which I said, and these are there. It is not that you're not using them, but if we know about them, we know how to use them in a more judicious and in a convenient manner. Otherwise, what will happen? That we know all these habits are there, and some of us will forget also, but our mind is working, so will be able to understand that this is the thing the child has done, so he has used this habit of mind. So it helps you in finding out the child also in a intricate understanding of the child. So intelligent people are always continuously learning. I have seen some of the old people sitting and reading a book, and whereas they don't need to, but still they are reading newspaper every day. So that is something very important. And always your mind should be striving to improve, because when you improve, the growth is there and learning is also there. Success is about who can critically think, collect evidence, make connections, keep their eye on the ball as the world falls apart around them, see the forest for the trees, and stay positive. If you are not that person, it will be enough. If you are that if you are that person, it will be enough. So I think this last lines are something which I would like to repeat again. Success is about who can critically think. Critical thinking is very important. You need to collect evidences are sometimes tangible and non-tangible. Emotion Somebody's emotion, your emotional bank is also an evidence. You have to make connections in your life, and you have to keep eyes on the ball as the world falls apart from. You have to just observe everything so minutely, and you have to keep track of each and everything that is happening. That is mindfulness. And whatever you require, you need to search that path. If you need to see the forest, you will go to the trees. If you need to come study well, you need your books. If you want to become an IAS officer, you need to go through those books for studying. And if you want to become a doctor, you will have to go in that particular line. So this line basically states that. And apart from that, if we are positive, if we are happy, if we are empathetic, if we are passionate, if we are trying to just open our minds and ready to accept all our weaknesses and strengths, that is very important for us to be positive. And if you are that person, I think that will be enough. So with that, I'll come to the end of my presentation. I feel that habit of mind is very important because a lot of researches are going on the mind, and there are a lot of books which have also come up. And with the latest kind of education pattern which is coming, it is not more of writing and only rote memorization, nothing is there. It is more of the application of mind. So so when the application of mind is there, naturally, we need to work on that. And we need to know more about the teachers, the students, everybody. If we don't know about our body, if we don't know what is the function of a particular part of your body, I think we will not be able to justifiably do that. So thank you, Preena, for giving me this opportunity. I know I want to talk so much, but still I have tried. I don't know. I have tried to keep myself under control, because these are certain things which are connected with life. They are always very exhaustive, and there is no end to them. And there are people, those who can really must have. I don't know how many of them must have understood or not understood, but I made an effort from my side for the students also and for the teachers also. Thank you so much, Nina, for giving me this opportunity. And I am really my gratitude to Mrs. Sunita Gandhi for all her endeavors for putting up platforms like this where we can share our views and thoughts.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am. I think the points you explained beautifully, all the 16 points, and the efforts made by you, I think you are successful. It's always amazing to hear from you. And these 16 points, as you said, that these are not new, but somewhere we generally in our learning space, learning environment, we are more concerned about the learning objectives, or you can say the targets that are set by schools from given standards, or maybe some kind of instructions are there, and then we look out for the results. And somewhere in between this particular thing, the habit or you can say the habits of mind, are lost, that actually play a very major role in success or failure. But that's what I feel, because it's all about your life skills, and beautifully explained. And but I would like to ask you something, like, how can
Yeah,
we
yeah.
match the pace, like as you said, these points, if I talk about point number 11, creativity, to create, or there are other points, like, impulsive, or you can say flexibility. But somewhere in this rush of completing our uh, other tasks set by the teachers in school, to complete the syllabus, to make sure that the students are scoring good marks, and lot many other things. Do you think there is sufficient room for students to really adapt these, or I think it takes a lot of time to go ahead with all 16, but maybe they can start with at least one. So what do you think, which one they should go ahead with?
Uh, Preena, I think that the we all are already following all these points.
Yeah, we do.
The only thing is we are not able to give them any names because we are not reflecting. If we reflect back, it's not that nothing can be done. If look at the students also, the students, it is certain things where the students have created that kind of attitude, I say, or that kind of nature, that they are always in a hurry. चलो जल्दी से पढ़ो खत्म करो जल्दी. So
Right.
some white peace of mind is not there. The mind is always in a rush. If you can stabilize your mind, if we can give, that is why people, those who meditate, why the meditation is so much and yoga is so much in vogue like right now, because this is giving them this time, that there is nothing to, you have to be hurry up. There are 24 hours. If you can manage your time and if you can do it, it is everything you can take care of. And these are actually why this has been taken up, because you, all the students or teachers, everybody is in a mad rush. So
Right.
this mad rush, if they try to ponder over, if they try to introspect a little bit, so in the day you will find that I could have reacted in a this way, so that particular incident would not have taken such a bad shape.
True. We,
Or
we we are not in a state whenever any such problem occurs.
so we need
Yeah.
to train ourselves. That is why I said no. Whenever you are in a, wherever there is a fight, just take a deep breath. So when you will take a deep breath, you will find a leave it, or you will become calm down.
Mhm.
Impulsive won't make you do a lot of things. So that impulsiveness, if it can be tamed down a little bit, once it comes to a taming mode, then the things turn out, then you start enjoying that. Because then you afterwards you feel that my little action of mine resulted into such a pleasant attitude. And little another action of mine was spoiled my whole day. So why should I spoil my whole day? So
True.
these problems will come, stresses will be there, syllabus has to be completed. Competitions, students will have to study also, fulfill the desires of the teachers, have to be whatever the aspirations of parents, they have to be there. But at least they are at peace with themselves. If,
True. So we need to practice.
suppose my mother says something to me today, and do so, I can sit down, relax, and I can just say, think and ponder over it, and then make my plan for that. Now, what has happened? Every day, mother says to the students to study, and the students get angry and they fight, and things don't come to any conclusion. So, what happens? Mother feels the child is not listening. Now I'll stop saying, and now she bangs on the father to say. So, if that kind of a situation can, if we can motivate a child in a different manner, or we can take a time to sit down with the children and talk about it and just tell them, and because we are just trying to put all our desires and aspirations on these children. A teacher just want to
Right.
complete the syllabus, and without realizing how much the student has my all my
Mm.
students understood whatever I am trying to tell them, or is it
Right.
only few five children of the class those who have understood? So
Mm.
these are everyday nuances which are there. But there is also, if any problem is there, it is not that the solution is not there. Solution, finding a solution is an art. So that can be done in a collaboration. If certain situations are there, so we can all sit down and we can find out a solution to this, or we can have our own action plan. Okay, I want to with this child. I tomorrow I'll do this and I'll see. So what happens every day? Little targets when you're achieving, no, it gives you a lot of satisfaction. It gives you a feeling too that, and it become makes you passionate also. You start enjoying it. Your outlook changes. Some people have got such seasoned, matured, and sensible outlook. Other people are impulsive, rude. They will just do blah blah and make other people uh, become afraid of them. So these are approaches only, and these are the habits of mind. So suppose you are stuck in a, I've seen, I was once crossing this when I was going to DPS Ghaziabad. So there was a train coming, and all of a sudden one person was stuck between the railway line with his car, and he became so petrified that he was not able to put the ignition on and move forward. Everybody was saying jaldi niklo, jaldi niklo. He was not able to do it because he was completely lost. So why this situation? And this is something which can happen with any one of us. But these problems are coming. So later on, he must, if he would have been calm for a second. And though this doesn't happen, but people are there in on fields on when they are on in the fighting where they are being trained for this kind of a thing. All the Air Force, Navy, and Army is working on these grounds only. People are those who are going to Mars and Moon. They are also working on these, so they are being trained for that. So if little bit of training or problem solving attitude, that if you are stuck, don't lose your calm, don't lose your calm, better. And these are small learnings which happen at home and in school, and they reflect later on. The problem is at home and in school we are in so much of hurry all the time that children are not learning these habits of mind. So I'm not, it is see, every person is born with, but if we know certain things exist, and if we can take something of those and bring it into a habit or nature at a young age, and we are teaching with that intention to the students, I think it will be good for the students and for the school also, for the teachers as
True, very rightly said. So, as you said, we as an individual, we can work on it. But do you think there is something, or maybe certain changes are to be done at ground level, maybe at school level? Although we are already doing, but not all of us. That's what I believe. Where we need to give that with space to the teachers to, conduct the sessions in such a manner where these habits are being, properly integrated, although they are, we are repeating this again, but
well.
still, do we need to make certain changes at school level?
Yeah, we see this is happening. This is happening. The strange fact is that we really don't know that we are doing it. The only thing is where major problems are there or dilemmas are there we can all sit down and sort out that how we have to go about. That is why we have coordinator meeting with the coordinators or meeting with the principal. Why do we meet? Why do we sit down? We discuss the problem. The children are not studying now. Online is a great question mark for us, where the children are not switching on their videos. So we need to find out what is the reason, because they are not properly dressed up. So there the role of the parent also comes. If your school is online, why can't you sit properly and have it? So the only thing is we need to make the wheel move. Once it will start moving, I I don't know whether it is full guarantee, but some of the schools and some are in, especially in the Western world, people are working on these kind of situations.
Right.
They are really doing it, because unless and until there are a lot of excuses for not doing a thing, but there are 100 ways where you can plan out, and at least one person should try to do and share whatever he or she has done. Okay, I did it this way, and this is what benefits I derived out of it. So it will be
Yeah.
a motivating factor for others also. So you have to make it contagious. You will have to spread this infection, then only this will go. Otherwise everybody is so much shelled out, and everybody has wrapped so much of problems around himself or herself that they are not giving time for all these things. So it is observation of life, your own personal observation. So when we say that you need to meditate, you need to introspect, so what is that? That is observation of our acts. So if my acts are, I'm observing my acts and I want my children and my teachers to observe, so that also makes a lot of difference. Maybe you will not achieve all of them, but if we can make one difference in one child and other difference in other child,
Right.
we'll be on some path at least.
Yeah, that's what point number 6 says. Be aware of your own thoughts.
Yes.
True, true. And yes, I think it was wonderful session with you. I think, and I would like to just say a very good quote by Aristotle: "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." So I think we have to practice every day, and we can start with at least one of them. And maybe the easiest one to start are, I think, point number 14, finding humor in everything. You just have to be
Yes.
happy, and I think that's how we can make things look more easier. So thank you so much, ma'am. It
Thank you.
was
Pleasure
really
was
wonderful
all
having you.
mine. Pleasure was all mine. I really loved speaking, and it's something which comes from my heart because I feel that
Thank you much.
I want certain changes there in the society, in the thought process of the people. When I see a lot of disturbance in the society, and I
Mhm.
feel my youth is also going to be a part of this tomorrow, so there is a anxiety in me as well because I want the children to think in a broader term. Now, yeah, even for example, that mob mentality which was there, if they could have really thought over it, so after that they were repenting.
Right. I think that's
And,
really so
uh,
nice of you. We need more people like you. Then keep motivating us. And I would request all my viewers to share this video as much as you can, because this is something we really need to work on, especially now is the time. And yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining
thank
us
you.
on Getty once
Welcome,
again.
welcome.
And thanks to
Thank
all
you,
the
Getty.
viewers.
Thank you to Getty also because it's a wonderful, wonderful platform for all of us to get together and know each other and share our viewpoints and express our opinions. That is also, this is what connected attitude is. That also one of the points which I spoke about. So
Yes, ma'am.
connectivity. So as a team, I think all of you are working so well. So my compliments to you all. Thank you so
Thank
much
you so
once.
much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, ma'am.
you.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.